Yo, hey, what's going on, Music Culture Gang, and welcome to another episode of Music Culture Daily. I am your host, Maurice. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. Today is Sunday, so I'm going to bring you my weekly album rotation. That means I'm going to talk about and discuss the albums that I listened to during this past week. I haven't did a video like this in a while, so I'm going to jump right into it. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to get right into it. First, coming up on Sunday, I was listening to this classic second studio album by the late great Notorious B.I.G, and the name of this album is entitled Life After Death. This album was released on March 25th, 1997 on Bad Boy Records and Arista Records. This is a double album, and it was released 16 days after the unfortunate murder of Notorious B.I.G. This album right here featured collaborations, guest appearances from everyone from 112, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, Mase, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, Too Short, Angela Winbush, DMC of Run DMC, R. Kelly, The Lox, and Puff Daddy himself. This album right here received critically acclaim. It sold over 10 million copies, which was made it certified diamond. The album was nominated for Best Rap Album and Best Rap Solo Performance for its first single, which was 𝐜𝐚𝐧𝐭, and Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group for its second single, More Money, More Problems, featuring Puff Daddy and Mase at the 40th annual Grammy Awards. This album also has been included on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Times list, and it ranked at 179 on that list. This album had production from Puff Daddy himself, the Bad Boy in-house production team at the time known as the Hitmen, DJ Premier, Clark Kent, Buck Wild, Havoc, RZA, who else? Easy Mo B, just to name a few. The album, like I said, had 3 singles, the first being 𝐜𝐚𝐧𝐭, which was released 8 days before the Notorious B.I.G.'s death. It was released on March 1st, 1997. More Money, More Problems, like I mentioned earlier, featuring Puff and Mase, was released on July 15th, 1997, and the third and final single off this classic studio album was entitled Sky's the Limit / Going Back to Cali, which was released on November 18th, 1997. So yeah, this is the album that I was listening to on Sunday, the Notorious B.I.G. second studio album, the classic double album, which is entitled Life After Death. Check it out if you haven't already. And on Monday, yes, you see it, I was listening to Cam'ron's. This is his third studio album, and the name of this album is entitled Come Home With Me. This album is Cam'ron's first debut album under Rockefeller Records. When he signed to Rockefeller Records, this album was released on May 14th, 2002 through Rockefeller Records and Def Jam Records and Diplomat Records. This album kind of served as Cam'ron pretty much introducing his group, the Diplomats, which featured Jim Jones, Joel Santana, and Freaky Zeke. This album also has guest appearances from Jay-Z, Memphis Bleek, Beanie Sigel, Daz Dillinger, 𝐥𝐨, just to name a few. The album sold over 1 million copies in the United States. It was certified platinum, sold 266,000 copies in its first week. The album also has production from Ty Fife, Just Blaze, Kanye West, DR Period, just name a few. There's a whole bunch of producers, but I'm just gonna name a few. The album saw the release of 3 singles. The first single being released off this album was Old Boy, which was produced by Just Blaze. That was released on April 2nd, 2002. The second single was Hey Ma, which was released in the summer on August 6th, 2002. And the third and final single of this album was entitled Daydreaming, which was released February 4th, 2003. This album received great reviews, positive reviews from music critics. So yeah, like I said, there's nothing more I need to say. It's a great album. It's a good album from Cam'ron. And like I said, the executive producers were Sean Carter, which is Jay-Z, Damian Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burt. So this is what I was listening to on Monday. Cam'ron, Come Home With Me. And on Tuesday, I was listening to this album, which is one of my favorite hip-hop albums of all time. Definitely my favorite Kanye West album of all time. This is his 5th studio album, and the name of this album is entitled My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. In my opinion, this is Kanye's best album that he ever released. He has a lot of classic albums under his belt in his catalog, but to me, this is his best. This is my favorite. And this album was released on November 22nd, 2010 through Def Jam Recordings and Rockefeller Records. The album had guest appearances from the likes of Jay-Z, Pusha T, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, vocals from Kid Cudi, John Legend, and Elton John, and it also had appearances from Raekwon from Wu-Tang. This album received widespread critically acclaim. The album had production from Mike Dean, of course Kanye West, and a bunch of other producers. This album had 4 singles that was released with this album. The first one being Power, which was released on July 1st, 2010. The second single being Runaway, which was released October 4th, 2010. The third single, Monster, one of my favorite songs on this album, was released October 23rd, 2010. And the fourth and final single off this album was entitled All the Lights, featuring Rihanna and a bunch of different people adding additional vocals. It was released January 18th, 2011. This album also won the Grammy for Best Rap Album. It was nominated for Album of the Year, but it didn't win. A lot of people felt it was snubbed. A lot of people felt this album should have won Album of the Year. The artwork on here, he gives you different type of artwork that comes with the album that you can just switch in and out, and everything like that. It's like a clear open cover and everything like that. This is the vinyl version of it. So yeah, but this is what I was listening to on Tuesday. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the 5th studio album by Kanye West. And on Wednesday, I was listening to this album from Travis Scott. This album is entitled Astro World. This is his 3rd studio album, and it was released on August 3rd, 2018 through Cactus Jack Records, which is founded by Travis Scott himself, and Grand Hustle Records, distributed by Epic Records. This album has guest appearances from a lot of who's and artists in hip hop. From The Weeknd was featured on this album, Kid Cudi, Frank Ocean, Drake, James Blake, Philip Bailey, 21 Savage, Swag Lee, Gunna, Quavo, Takeoff, Juice WRLD, Don Toliver. It had production from Mike Dean, Hit Boy, Sony Digital, Murder Beats, Thundercat, just to name a few. This album also saw the release of 4 singles. The first single being entitled Butterfly Effect was released on May 15, 2017. The second single, Sicko Mode, was the second single, which is my favorite single on the album. It featured Drake, and that single was released August 21st, 2018. The second single, being Yasmine was released on November 20th, 2018. And the fourth and final single off this album was entitled Wake Up, which was released March 26, 2019. This album received critically acclaim. I love the artwork right here. It's kind of like a theme park, I guess, to play on the Astro World theme of the album. So it's a dope album. Check it out from Travis Scott if you haven't heard it already. This album sold 537,000 album equivalent units in its first week, which 270,000 were pure sales, which is pretty good in this climate of rap. This album won Album of the Year at the 2009 BET Hip Hop Awards also. So yeah, this is what I was listening to, Travis Scott on Wednesday, Astro World. And moving right along, on Thursday, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar's. This is his 2nd studio album, his first major label debut album. The name of this album is entitled Good Kid, Mad City. This album was released on October 22nd, 2012. The album was released through Top Dog Entertainment, Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records. It had guest appearance from It had guest appearances from Drake, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, J-Rock, NC8, Anna Wise. Like I said, just to name a few, this is his major label debut, his first album being entitled Section 80, which was released the year before in 2011. This album also received critically acclaim. It had 5 singles that was released on this album. The singles were The Recipe, Swimming Pools featuring Drake, Backseat Freestyle, Poetic Justice, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. All 5 singles charted well on the Billboard charts. The album had production from Just Blaze, Pharrell Williams, T-Minus, Soundwave, The Business. Pretty much a lot of people helped out on this album. This is a critically acclaimed album. This album also was included in 2020 on Rolling Stone's updated 500 greatest albums of all time. This album was ranked at 115. So yeah, like I said, it's a dope album from Kendrick Lamar. He haven't missed. He has since went on to release 2 more albums since then. But yeah, I enjoy all his albums. This is no exception. This is a classic by Kendrick Lamar. Some of my favorites on here is Swimming Pools, Don't Kill My Vibe, Backstreet Freestyle, Poetic Justice. I just love a lot of songs on here. So yeah, it sold like 242,000 copies in this first week. The highest first week hip hop album of 2012 from a male artist. So yeah, Kendrick Lamar did this thing with his major label debut. The name of this album is Good Kid, Mad City. That's what I was listening to on Thursday. Then on Friday, I kept it with Kendrick Lamar. I was in the Kendrick Lamar mood again. On Friday, I was listening to his third studio album. His second major label debut, and the name of this album is entitled To Pimp A Butterfly. This album was released 3 years later on March 15th, 2015. The album was released by Top Dog Entertainment, Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records. Another dope album from Kendrick Lamar. The artwork is dope. It's a crowd of people, I guess rebellion in front of what looks like the White House. And the album, like I said before, is a dope album. It received critically acclaim. It had production from Pharrell Williams, Boy Wonder, Thundercat, Soundwave, just to name a few. It had guest appearances from everyone from George Clinton, Snoop Dogg, James Frank Leroy, Ronald Isley, and Rhapsody. Like I said, this album had 5 singles that were released on this album. The first single was I, which was released September 16, 2014. The second single, The Blacker the Berry, which was released February 9, 2015. The third single, King Kunta, was released March 24, 2015. The fourth single, Alright, We're Gonna Be Alright, one of my favorite songs off this album, was released June 20th, 2015. He actually performed that song at this year's Super Bowl, 2020 Super Bowl, which was held in Los Angeles. And the fifth and final single off this album was These Walls, which was released October 13th, 2015. Like I said, Grammy nominated album, one of his best works. This is Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. That's what I was rocking to on Friday. And basically what I did to close out the week on yesterday, what I was listening to, I took it back to 1994. This is from the Wu-Tang, a Wu-Tang member. This is his first solo debut album, and it comes from none other than, this is actually the first solo debut album from any Wu-Tang member, and this album comes from none other than one of my favorite hip-hop lyricists, one of my favorite members in the Wu-Tang, none other than Method Man. This is his first debut studio album. The name of this album is called Tical. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the light is reflecting off of it or whatever, so probably hard for you to see because it's a real dark cover. But anyway, I digress. This album was released on November 15th, 1994 through Def Jam Recordings. The album has guest appearances from the Wu-Tang members, of course, RZA, Raekwon, Inspector Deck, The album received critical and commercial success, reaching number 4 on the Billboard US 200 charts and number 1 on the top R&B and hip-hop album charts. On January 18th, 1995, this album was certified gold, and by that summer of July 13th, 1995, this album was platinum. The album also saw the success of 2 singles, which is entitled, the first one was entitled Bring the Pain, which was released October 25th, 1994. I saw the release of another single, I think it's Release Your Death, which was released in 1995. And the third and final single off this album, the classic duet, the classic song featuring Mary J. Blige. This song was entitled I'll Be There For You / You're All I Need, which was released on April 25th, 1995. The producer on this album, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤, the Wu-Tang producer at that time, which pretty much handled all the in-house Wu-Tang production. He produced this album. The album was recorded in 36 Chambers Studios in Staten Island and all across New York City. The album was like 43 minutes long. It's a dope album. I love this album by Method Man. One of my favorite albums from him, and one of my favorite Wu-Tang members. But yeah, this is what I was listening to on yesterday, which was Saturday. Tical, Method Man's debut album. Well, that wraps up my weekly album rotation. Please let me know in the comment section. We can discuss this in the comment section, what you was listening to, whether you were listening to vinyl, whether you were listening to streaming services, music streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Title, Amazon Music, or whatever, Pandora, whatever you listen to. Let me know what you listened to this week, and we can discuss it in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. I'm out. Peace.